Tangled is my favorite Disney princess movie. And yes, I know that sounds weird coming from a grown man, but I don't care. It really is a great movie. In this video, I want to tell you how great it is by talking about the characters in this movie and their conclusions, and how that crafted the movie's perfect ending. Let me start with Rapunzel, the main character in the movie, who on the surface might seem like she didn't have any interesting character arc at all. In fact, you can say she was perfect at the start, and she was even more perfect at the end. And that's partly true because in comparison to Eugene, she really didn't change that much, and her character flaws weren't really a subject of focus. But I'd argue that her flat character arc was essential for the movie. She was portrayed in a perfect manner because she needed to be for the characters and the messages of the movie. And before I say why that is, it's important to mention that it made sense for her character to be the way she was, given her backstory. Her character didn't feel forced to be a certain way just for the sole reason of satisfying the plot. It was very good for the plot that she was the way she was, but it also felt very natural. Anyways, I digress. Let's get on to her role in the movie. Firstly, Rapunzel's innocence and childlike naivety had a major impact on all the characters in the movie. Her ability to see beyond the surface of the person in front of her and see the good in them was the reason that many of the characters in the movie went through the changes that they did. The men at the bar who started the movie as criminals, and by the end of the movie all left that life of crime and started chasing their dreams. The catalyst for that was the scene at the bar, when Rapunzel got them singing about their dreams like little kids, by questioning their actions and reminding them that they all had real goals and aspirations before becoming what they became. Eugene as well, he had a complete 180 because of Rapunzel. And of course, his change for the better was partly motivated by romance, but it was also due to Rapunzel believing in him and pushing him to be better. That scene when they were in front of the campfire and she questioned his actions and then told him that she preferred Eugene to Flynn was a great scene, because again, due to Rapunzel believing in Eugene and seeing the good in him, she was able to awaken his conscience that had been asleep for ages. And that was actually the moment that we saw his character go from Flynn to Eugene. Even Maximus went through change because of Rapunzel. He didn't have a bad to good transformation like the others, but you can see that he was infected by Rapunzel's belief in the good in people, because when Eugene was screaming that Rapunzel was in danger, he believed them, and saved them with the help of the guys from the bar. And yeah, you could say that Maximus only did that so that Eugene would be able to save Rapunzel, but I would argue that if it weren't for Rapunzel, Maximus wouldn't have believed Eugene, because at the end of the day, Eugene was just a lowly thief who would say anything to get out of trouble. So you see, almost all the characters in the movie can credit their change for the better to Rapunzel in some way, except Mother Gothel probably, because we know how that ended. Anyways, I think that character trait of seeing the good in people that Rapunzel has is a great message for us, especially nowadays when everyone is too cynical and everyone is quick to label the other a bad person. Usually that's not reality. Life is not black and white, and people make mistakes. And listen, life isn't a Disney movie either. There are bad people out there. But the point still stands. It's important to try to understand other people and not be quick in labeling them a certain way. Anyways, that wasn't the only message that Rapunzel gives us, because Rapunzel also serves as a beacon of hope in the movie. She's been locked in a tower all her life, and she's been dreaming of the day she can go out. But of course she wasn't allowed because of Gothel. You could look at this in two ways. One is that she finally got out after years of being locked in the tower and being unknowingly kidnapped. And that of course is a message of hope, of never giving up and believing that one day everything will be better, even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But there's also another side to the story, and another message. Rapunzel had a dream of finally going out into the world and leaving that tower, but she didn't do so because of Gothel, and the fears and the doubts that were planted in her head from herself and her mother. But once she got out, we see that she held her own quite well, and I believe that was very intentional by the movie, to tell us that in life, you're gonna have dreams that people shoot down, that maybe even you will shoot down, because of doubts and fears. And maybe some of them are valid, but the message here is go for it, because you will never know until you try. You might just surprise yourself. Flynn Rider or Eugene was also a very well written character, and he probably goes through the most change in the movie due to Rapunzel's actions. We learned in that campfire scene that he was an orphan child that took to the streets to steal out of necessity, but also out of a feeling of powerlessness that he wanted to get rid of. His hero was the legendary Flynn Rider that was rich and powerful beyond belief, and Eugene was the furthest thing away from that. He was everything that Eugene wanted and didn't have, so he tried to be like him the best way he could, by stealing and robbing. Anyways, enough of the synopsis. Eugene goes through a great transformation because when we first see him, we see that he's this morally inept, backstabbing thief that only cares about himself. And as the movie progresses, we see that there's good in him behind that Flynn Rider persona. And Rapunzel brings that good out of him and he becomes someone that can look beyond his own desires. And I think that scene when he cuts Rapunzel's hair so that she can finally be free of Gothel, knowing it will cost him his life, really encapsulates his transformation very well. And it's a good ending for him and a good message for us. And what is the message here? It's the importance of second chances and not letting your past stop you from changing for the better. Because let's be real, Flynn was a low-life criminal that one can argue got really lucky. And that's true, but he still had to change and believe that he could change. And many people don't do that and simply give up on themselves. And well, they shouldn't do that because although the past does define who we are, our actions and the future past that we can create has the ability to change that. Anyways, enough preaching. Next, I want to talk about two characters that actually didn't have too much presence in the movie, but their impact and the message that they sent to us is very valuable. And these two characters are the Stabbington brothers. No, I'm kidding. It's the king and the queen, Rapunzel's parents. Now, why do I say their impact in the movie is great? Because if you look at it, they symbolize hope in the movie. Yes, the theme of hope was also portrayed by Rapunzel, but it hit much harder with them because they were two parents that lost their daughter and for years clinged on to that hope that she might still be out there, even though in their heart of hearts, they knew that she probably wasn't. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that there's always a scene in those animated movies that gets me emotional. And in this movie, it was that lantern scene when the king was crying over his daughter on what was supposed to be her birthday, with the queen comforting him by wiping his tears. Such a short and seemingly unnecessary scene, but it was so important because it captured the parents' pain very well. It made the ending of them finally seeing their daughter come back even more satisfying. It made the message of hope even more memorable and impactful. Now, of course, I'd be remiss if I don't mention Mother Gothel. She was very well portrayed. A true master manipulator. I was honestly hoping that she would get some redemption. Not a complete redemption or anything like that. She still did a heinous crime and deserves to be punished for it. But after years of raising Rapunzel, I would have thought that she might have grown to love her like a daughter, even if her intentions with her were initially not exactly pure. But anyways, that's not what happened, because Mother Gothel is as cold-hearted as they come, and she got the ending she deserved. And listen, although I was kinda hoping that her motherly instincts would prevail over her selfish nature, having her maintain her evil nature was a very good decision, because after we saw all those bad guys redeem themselves, it is important to still tell the audience that as sad as it sounds, not everyone is good inside. Some people are just bad, and it is what it is. Even the criminals in the Snuggly Duckling cabin had their own character arcs. And listen, it was pretty basic. They started as criminals and by the end of the movie, they all abandoned their life of crime to follow their dreams. And although the message of following your dreams is nothing groundbreaking, I still think it's a testament to how good the movie is, that even the side characters were used by the movie to send us a message. And also, you gotta remember that a lot of the audience of this movie are kids, so the simple cliché messages are just as important as the other ones. So you see, the movie did a great job in making all the characters matter, and to me, that's what made the movie and its ending so brilliant. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you in the next one.